Hi, I'm Brenton Tong, Financial Advisor and Managing Director of Financial Spectrum. So you're recently engaged in planning your big day, and it's a big day indeed. Depending on which survey you read, the cost of an average Australian wedding is between $36,000 and $65,000. Either way you look at it, that's a lot of money to spend on one day of your life. However, it's probably one of the most important and memorable days in your life too, so let's make it special. But keep a lid on your spending and make sure you have something left over. Marriage is the beginning of your life together, not the end of your savings. To help you get off to the best start, here are my tips to help you save on your wedding. First, to avoid spending blowout, it's imperative that you set a budget. It may sound pretty obvious, but give serious consideration to what's a reasonable amount for you. It might be $10,000, it might be $50,000, but whatever the figure is, make sure you think beyond the day itself. As a newly married couple, there's a high chance you want to buy a house, start a family, travel and live life. Expenses will continue to roll in after the confetti settles, so make sure you take a long-term view when considering how much you can afford. Now your budget's in place, make sure you stick to it. There are some things you just won't be able to do, but rather than cutting them out altogether, why not get creative and find a different way of doing them? Perhaps you could create your own invitations, or you could ask a stylish friend to do your flowers. A little extra effort won't just save you some money, it could make your day a lot more unique. My third tip is that unless you have savings set aside already, make sure you give yourself enough lead time to save for the wedding. Once you've set a budget and worked out the cost of your wedding, establish how much you'll need to save to meet this target and how long it's going to take for you to get there. Be realistic about what you can achieve, and if necessary, either push the wedding back or consider ways to make it less expensive. For example, if you plan to spend $20,000 for a wedding in 1 year's time, you're going to need to save about $1,600 a month. But if you start saving 2 years before, you only need to save $800 each month. Now, my next piece of advice is to avoid borrowing money to fund your wedding. Interest is going to add hundreds or thousands of dollars to the cost of your wedding, and you don't want to start married life in debt with financial stress. And it's a pretty fair assumption that if you're unable to save for the wedding before you get married, you might struggle to find a way to pay the debt off afterwards. Now, the next thing is to establish priorities. Now, did you know that if each of you have a couple of coffees each day, that could add up to about $4,000 a year? Now, that could be a big chunk of your wedding budget. Now, what's more important to you, coffee or a wedding dress? Now, you can easily link expenditures in your life, like dining out, takeaways, or a big cocktail budget, and keep and allocate that toward parts of your wedding. And we recently worked out for a client that just walking an extra station to catch the train to work saved $400 a year. Now, that 10 minutes of walking covered the cost of their cake, and it kept them pretty fit as well. My final piece of advice is to be organized and get in early. If you've got time on your side, you can get a better price by prepaying, negotiating, or you can shop around and find things on sale. Not only are you getting better value for money, it also prevents bill shock from all the expenses rolling in at once. Spacing the expenses out over a longer time frame helps you manage your budget a lot better, and there's less chance of you having a massive blowout. I hope these tips help your big day turn into the start of a great life together. And for more advice and tips on how to make the most of your money, visit our blog at financialspectrum.com.au.